welcome. This is I'm very excited to have this guest on. And I know that a lot of you, whether you admit it or not, are going to be very excited to have the reality queen that is Melinda Willis on. If you don't know who she is, she's a CEO. Okay, so that's enough as far as I'm concerned. But she was also on Married at First Sight. Do not tell me you don't watch it because the ratings do not lie. That is a juggernaut of a show, and it is a show that I am completely obsessed with. Some would say maybe too obsessed, but hey, I'm a goggle boxer, so I think I'm allowed to get away with it. I'm one of the girls this week. One of the other girls is Melinda. I'd like to say welcome. Welcome, Melinda.
Yay. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to chat to you.
Oh, I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for saying yes to an interview with me because I have a few questions for you, and I know that So Dramatic really, really wanted you, and I got you.
That's correct.
And I absolutely adore, can I just put this straight up there? I absolutely adore Megan. We had her on the show when Angie and I were doing this podcast, and I still adore. Like, I talk to Megan all the time. She's just one of my favourite people. So I actually let her know immediately that I got you, and I was like, I don't want to step on toes. And she said, oh, are you kidding? As long as someone interviews her, she's so interesting. I'm like, oh, good. I'm so glad that you said that because I am not a gossip podcast and she is. And so I'm like, I'm really nervous. I was really nervous thinking, I don't know what, but I thought, no, I'm interested in this woman as a woman, not just someone who was on a reality TV show. So I'm going to be fine. But I also had that, I guess, permission from Megan, like not permission, blessing is what I would say, because she was just so keen to get your side of the story. And we're going to get into all of that stuff later. But I just want to first say you may have been on maths, but you are a CEO. And that, to me, is just everything. I am all about empowering women. I'm all about kick-ass women. And when I saw you on Married at First Sight, that was the first thing that jumped out at me. And I didn't know because I watched you and I watched your, I hate the word journey on the show, and I watched your storyline going. I didn't know until afterwards that you have one of your products is the only product that I've ended up being able to use. I have to sleep with a sleep mask on. And
my gosh, I love this.
I have searched high and low, and it was years ago,
wow,
that I found Feather Sisters. And I have naturally really long lashes, and I sleep on top of them a little bit. So they're always have that, going inwards. And all of a sudden I found this, and it said Australian made. And I was like, well, that's me perfectly. And they were pink. They had, how would you describe that?
So if it's a few years ago, you may have one of our older versions, and I've completely customized a new one. So we're definitely going to send you some.
Okay, good.
And I love a loyal Feather Sisters follower from way before maths.
Yeah.
I love when they reach out, and that's so interesting to hear. So thank you. So it's like a 3D contour.
Yeah. 3D contour.
Yeah,
so your eyes
you can
don't
open
touch.
your eyes.
Yes, that's what I love.
They look like
them.
a bra. Everyone, when they first came out, called them a lash bra. Yeah.
That's perfect because that's exactly what they look like. Yeah. And I have two pair because I buy two of everything because I'm like, if I love it, I'm going to get two, especially things like that because you end up thinking, oh, what if it goes out of stock? And I can't. So I always, but mine is getting frayed. So I'm really not frayed because they're such good quality. But mine is the bra, the T-shirt bra. I don't know if that's still what you're making them out of, but they're black on the inside, pink on the outside. They've got the moulding, and I wash mine after I sleep because of makeup and things like that. So when I get up in the morning to wash my face, I wash them as well. Wash it
as well,
and then I hang it up. Yeah, because I don't want it to go gross. And it's starting to fray because of me rubbing it every day. But that is one of your companies. The other one is Melly's Parlour? Melly's Beauty Parlour?
Yes, Melly's Beauty Parlour. So that's more a brick and mortar business. So that's a service-based business that does kind of a one-stop shop for beauty.
Okay.
predominantly lashes and nails.
Did you start that first or Feather Sisters?
I started Feather Sisters. Feather Sisters was kind of my baby. So
Okay.
it'll always be like my first pride and joy and it'll always come first. But because it is online and it's an e-commerce brand, it allows me to do something more hands-on during the day.
Yes.
So that's when I went into the lash world and
So you
created Mellies.
And it's such a great product because you have lashes and you know what it's like to sleep on them and go, this is no good. I can't have this. So, and why sisters? Like, do you have Feather Sisters?
Well, yes. So first of all, the mask was when I did my first ever business flight, they had these really flat masks and I couldn't use them because I had extensions.
Yep.
And they were super painful.
Yep.
They were uncomfortable
Yep.
and they were destroying my lashes
Yep.
that were freshly done for my overseas trip.
Yep.
So I just remember thinking like this, I can't sleep now with lashes. So that's when we got the 3D and did all
You're
the
so
protect your
smart.
lash extensions.
And why did you just go, I can do this? Like, is that you? Is that what you've always just been like?
Yeah, I guess I mean my brothers call me a fairy because they think I'm like all woo-woo and just like I create and think like my dreams into reality.
Right.
So I've just always had this thought of like, well, if other people can do it, why not me?
Yeah,
So I just
good.
always go do what I say I do and I always shock people. So that's just kind of Mel.
Tell me about your family. You've got 3 brothers.
Yeah.
3? Where are you in there?
So we're all kind of a year apart. So
Okay.
Mum had 4 of us under 4,
What?
a handful.
That is, yeah. And where are you in the mix?
So I'm second oldest.
Second oldest.
Yes.
Okay, so you had someone to pick on, and, or were they just picking on you? What was it like to have 3 brothers? What is it like? Not was.
Yeah, I mean, we're still very close.
Yeah.
So close that I guess the Mel that you saw on Maths is a lot of the relationships with my brothers, like very strong-headed, very opinionated, very like if something's wrong, I'll call it right.
Yep.
And that comes from my 3 brothers and that comes from that like kind of competitive nature with them, like all my drive and motivation for business and doing
love
like
that.
what's right. Yeah. And
I
then the
love
other
that. Yeah, sorry.
the
I'm
other
just
part,
getting excited about how wonderful that is.
and it's very interesting because my brothers are very different to me. So I would say if you met all 4 of us in a room, you wouldn't put us together as a family because I guess usually I feel it's generally the males that are more, competitive, driven, motivative, like loud,
they're made
opinionated.
to be, aren't they? Because that's what I wanted to say to you. Having 3 boys in a family and being so successful as the woman in the family of the siblings, normally it's the boys that are the success because patriarchy makes it that way. That they're the ones that are told you can do anything, you can be anything, and you do everything. But you've got brothers who've clearly either made you competitive or have they told you you can be anything? Did you have those parents that said, you're the same as your brothers?
No, I kind of had the opposite.
Right.
I kind of had Dad is a very like boys boy. So
Okay.
he's very like protect the females, protect the daughter. So we would get like a little bit of money to walk to the shops, on the weekend to go buy lollies or something. But the boys were allowed to go on their own and I was never allowed to go on my own. And the boys always were kind of in charge of everything. And it was like always taught to like protect the female. She's more delicate, which is not me.
Not you at all. So you've done that yourself. You've
Yeah,
gone,
I guess I have.
this. I don't need to be protected, Dad.
Yeah.
I can do this, and you've proven it.
Yes, I did one time try and go to the shops on my own just to prove that point. And there was a Rottweiler dog there. It's totally off topic, but there was this big Rottweiler dog that ended up chasing me. I got stuck behind a brick wall. My brothers had to come save me. But I still did it.
The irony of that. But that is an anomaly. That would not normally happen.
Exactly.
So, and it didn't clearly stop you from being a kick-ass anyway. But, so did you grow up in Brisbane?
Yeah, so I grew up in Brisbane. My family kind of haven't done much travel at all. I know that no one had really been out of Queensland. I think Mum and Dad had done some Australia trips, but no one had really been out. And I guess when I was 19 years old, I left Australia on my own for the first time to go to London and work on board cruise ships. So things like that, you know, I'm like, Mum's always said I'm that little cub that is just always running and always doing something and always just, I'm her different cub, she says. So she's got all her boys that are really safe and they're really like, you know, kind of that more straightforward way of thinking. And then you've got me that's like, let me run free. I can do better. I can be the best. Yeah. Yeah. So.
I've only got one brother. We had foster brothers as well, but every one of them is still at home, like not in the house, but they're all homebodies. They're all married. They're all, you know, settled down. I was the one that left young, went overseas on my own, did it all. And it's funny because I do believe, and this is often said by mums who have young kids, that the girls are just tougher. They're just tougher. The boys are very sensitive little things, and that's
I really
what's so
believe
sad that it's kind of smacked out of them. You know, it's like just don't cry when boys. When they're babies and little toddlers, they can be so emotional. Why do we ever get rid of that? Like, they just let them be, because we end up being the ones who are the, you know, I guess push babies out of our vaginas, and we, you know, have all these reproductive problems and the pains that I truly don't believe a lot of men would be able to handle. I mean, and I love watching those TikToks, you know, the ones where they put on the TENS machine on them.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. I think every boyfriend should do it. Every husband should do it. Everyone needs to know.
Before you start a relationship with someone, say, come over here. I've got something to attach to your abdomen. Just want to see how you deal with it. And then you've got some respect for me.
And then you rate them on that. You know? If you can get past a 3, we can go on a date. If you can get past a 5, sure, we'll get married. But anything under that, bye, boy, bye.
I actually think that's brilliant. I think we could start. There's your new business stuff. I had Ash Pollard on a couple of weeks ago and we were talking, and she said something so interesting about reality TV, which I couldn't agree with more, is that when you see people on reality TV, you think they're just born out of the womb, that they've got nothing that they've done in their lives before they've been on reality.
I saw this.
Did you? Yeah. And
I watched that one.
It's so true, isn't it? Because, you know, you're just talking about cruise ships and everything. And I'm like, oh, my God, there's going to be so many things that you've done that is so interesting, and that everyone, I mean, I guess I did think after watching that, I thought, no, there are some people that really do go on reality TV and they've just come out of school. They really haven't done anything in their lives. But
it's true.
There are a few of them. I always think of that one meme where it's got a guy and it has his name like Chad Evans or something, and it has underneath former child. Because that's all he's had. That's all he's had in his life. So it's like it can be, but you're not one of those people. Married at first sight. You are so beautiful. I mean, it's just such a common frigging question to ask, you know, a beautiful woman. But you're not just stunning. You're really successful. And I do want to just say this before I ask that question. The relationship that you have with your nana.
Yes.
Made me cry.
Oh.
Like, it was so beautiful, and I was really, really glad to see a matriarch kind of relationship play out with you, and that was really lovely. Also absolutely loved what you had to say about Harrison. Like, what a stain that man is. Like, was he worse?
Look, I know with this question, right? But it's like, I felt at the time that his edit is a good edit. Like, I felt at the time that it could have been so much worse.
Yeah, right.
But that was me living in, you know, obviously my Harrison Mel feud.
Yeah,
but man, he grind my gears. And it's like, all I saw when I saw Harrison was just him there with this big pot just stirring it. Like,
well, and
just
we saw
stirring
that.
it.
That's all, and he would say it to camera. Like, he was just like, yeah, that's what, you know, I'm just going in there and I'm just saying it how it is, and they may not like that. And it's just like, you've got it so wrong.
He thought in his mind 100% that he was the hero of the show, and he just would not stop telling me that I'm the villain, that I'm the villain, that I'm the villain. And you know what is, you know what's so funny? I believe this on reality TV. If you are sitting there and you're a little bit worried thinking, could I have this villain edit? Could people not like me because I'm opinionated, I'm this? Chances are you're not the villain. If you sit there and you're thinking, it's not me, it's her, it's him, you're the villain.
Yes.
And there were a few of them in there that did that to me, and we're spreading this little thing of, to the intruders when they came in, like, be careful of Mel, she's going to be this year's villain. And when we did the couple swap, he was feeding me the same stuff, and, it came out the other way, obviously.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, he's trying to gaslight me. I'm like, wait, am I? And at the end of the day, whatever. If being a strong, powerful, independent, opinionated woman makes me the villain, so be it.
So be it. And and it didn't. It didn't at all. And I remember watching the first, the marriage between you and Layton, and they were really they really set you up. They really did that edit of, she's a princess, she's going to be a mole. She's, she doesn't like anyone. Oh, she's going to find out he's got money. Oh, she's happy now and blah, blah, blah. And I remember, because Clementine Ford, she didn't this year, but last year she was always watching the episodes, and she's a very good friend of mine. So we would talk a lot about how the edit was going to play out and how we were being told as an audience, you have to dislike this person.
Yeah.
And she would always break. I don't know if you've ever watched her breakdown. She didn't do it for your season, which was such a shame. But her and I did talk because I have that way of thinking. I was watching it and I'm like, oh, you're telling us to not like her. I'm going to like her immediately then. And then she's going to prove to me why I'm going to like her. And you did. You totally did. You were such a likable character. You were yourself.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's, the only way to really do it, and then, come what may. But I know that during that wedding, so many people came in and they instantly like their partner and they instantly want to get to know their partner, and they all have watched MAFS before. They all know what Australia likes. They all know what makes people not liked. So people are coming in there to be this perfect, cookie cutter reality star.
Yep.
And I guess I went in so real that I was like, this is my real life regardless whether people are going to watch it. This is still my real life. I don't want to lose 3 months of it. I've given up a lot to be here. So I'm going to be me. And if I don't click with this person, there's no way I'm going to turn to camera and say, yes, beautiful, so happy, we'll work on it. No, I'm still going to work on it, but I'm just not going to say and lie. So,
well, that's what I thought you were refreshing, because you were like, yeah, you did the you numbered him, rated him, I think, or you rated yourself, and I just thought, yes, because that's true.
You know what? It's like when I look back at that. Originally, I watched the wedding and I was laughing and I was thinking, yeah, that's me. I'm sarcastic. He knew it on the day. That's why he told his chat to camera that I was funny. His friends were all saying we're a match. And then I was like, so surely people can see through that, right? That what they're trying to make me look like, it's not lining up with what everyone else is saying. But then viewers are so brainwashed, I guess, with the music, with the context missing, with everything, that they just instantly go to the defense of someone they think is, being treated a type of way.
Yeah.
Which he wasn't. So when I'm chatting to my camera and that missing context is there, I'm being, I'm baited on these questions. It's like they actually think Layton's actually feeling that way from me, and it just wasn't like that on the day.
Yeah, very different. So, it's amazing. It always makes me think of back in the days, MAFS. This is MAFS to a T. It's very Roman Colosseum. Throw them to the lions. Someone's got to be a villain. Someone's got to be a hero. And no one really cares who. Yeah. It's they're not real. So, and these people are about to be eaten by lions. So we don't care. We just want to see the carnage. And that to me is Married at First Sight to a T. The amount of people that come off that show and then say, don't go on that show. Just don't apply, because you don't know if you're going to get the bad edit.
It's a roll of the dice a little.
It is, isn't it? It really is. And if you do get that bad edit, you then get the vitriol that goes on and on and on. And if you don't have a strength of character, you are going to – I mean, it's only a matter of time before, just like the UK, someone takes their life from the bullying.
Yeah. It's pretty heavy stuff. Yeah.
It is. It's really heavy stuff. And that's what
It
we
is.
don't get as the viewer because you're not
Yeah.
real. And then,
Do you know what? It's like I've watched maths for years and I always knew going on that, yes, I'm quite opinionated. I may not be liked, right? And I thought I've got to protect my businesses. That's what I care about most is like I don't want to come off and then have so much hate to me that's tarnished all the hard work, all the other people involved, and I can't do that to them. And then, but at the same time, I want to find my partner. I want to live my life. But I just, I'm pretty strong and I'm pretty resilient.
Yep.
And I just told myself, like, that's fine if people don't like me. Who cares? I've had that my whole life.
Yeah.
They don't know me. They don't this. And you start to just think that.
Yeah.
But when it actually happens, I feel a little blessed in the way that even though I had kind of that, villain edit for 24 hours, it was horrible. And even though it lasted 24 hours for everyone else, it lasted a good week for me.
Right.
And it's still even going on through the show, I was a little bit broken, a little bit bruised watching it just from that edit that I couldn't shake or but I kept telling myself, what the viewers would think. And then when it all happened, the comments and they tell you not to look at them, but you can't help it.
No,
and
that's
the
right.
comments are enormous and you're almost going through them to find just maybe one comment that's a good one.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find any. And it literally bypasses your mind and your strength and it goes into your soul and you can't really rinse it out.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how strong you are, how much you think it's not going to affect you.
Yeah.
It's going to affect you.
It gets in. It gets in, doesn't it? And that's why I do worry about someone who is less of strength. If it gets to someone that has strength and someone else who's gone on this show purely for adoration, that's it. That's all they've gone on for. And there's probably been many and there is going to be more that – not being able to separate a complete stranger's point of view for you, which I'm 50, so I have a whole life before social media even existed. I have a whole life of videos and photos that no one will ever see and that was so awful or so dreadful. And I have a whole life of things that I did that no one will ever know about, that I didn't, and I didn't get into the public eye until 10 years ago. And I was 40. So I can really easily say, I don't read the comments because I don't care, I don't care. Because it's like I'm too old and fat and ugly to care about you, how much you hate me. And I have a sense of purpose. But if this was 20 years ago, I would be a completely different person sitting here right now who would have read all of the comments about myself, who would not be in the industry anymore because I would be too sensitive. I would have either gotten into drugs or alcohol or taken my own life by now. Like it was, we're going to have to put a trigger warning on this episode because it's this particular show especially, it is harsher than I think any other. And that's why I want to get
biggie.
I want to get to the question that I wanted to ask you originally was, you're so beautiful and you're so successful. Could you not find love on your own or because the last couple of weeks ago I had Alicia Aitken-Radburn on and she's just written this book called The Villain Edit, which if you haven't read, it is one of the best reads I've ever had. She did 3 dating shows, ended up finding the love of her life and she's married and it's fantastic. But she was so open and so honest about how she didn't go on for love. She went on to be accepted because she was a single child, an only child, and she just really, really wanted people to like her a lot. And I loved how honest she was. So did you go on for love? And it's okay if you didn't.
I feel like when you go on the show, you go on for all of it as a collection.
Yep.
And some people aren't ready to find love. They're going on there for the bulk sex opportunities after Harrison. But,
do you know that me and Angie started a hashtag no sex for Harrison because that's all he wanted it for. So we're like, don't give it to him because that's all he wants. So don't be that woman.
But then he came off and got a girlfriend straight away and I was like,
yeah, God.
Yeah.
Who would go out with anyway. Yes, go on, yep.
Yeah, so my thing was I actually thought going on, I'm always conflicted, right? I always have like the angel devil like thought of, I I believe in one thing and I want one thing and I think I'm deserving of this one thing. But then I have that self-doubt in me that tells me like, Mel, that's an imposter syndrome. You know, you're not worthy of that. You're not going to get that. That doesn't happen to people like you. So it's always that conflicting thing for me. I think the first one obviously is more powerful, so it just like quietens the other one.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like when I was doing maths, I remember applying and I just watched the final vows of the season before us.
Yep.
And I remember like crying all through it, and I'm like not really an emotional person. Maths I was. But I'm not an emotional person, and to the point of just crying over nothing. I felt that I had gone through so much with relationships, and the reason I was single was because I was constantly compartmentalizing everything in my life so I'm not hurt, you know. It's like, oh, if someone cheats on me, it's give me 24 hours, I'm bounced back. I don't even know who you are. Like, and I was strong.
Are you a Scorpio?
And I did. No, I'm a Libra.
Oh, are you?
Indecisive.
Yes. I was going to say, yes, can't make up their mind. So you'd be like, just get it rid of out of my mind. That's such a Libran thing. But Scorpio, I was thinking, because we can do that. I'm a Scorpio. We can do that really easily. But then we would also kill them. So you don't have that.
I block and delete.
Yeah, good,
So
good.
I drop them in the bin.
Yeah, good, perfect. See, I drop them in the bin and then set the bin alight. So... But no, I like that. I love Librans. I really do. So, So, compartmentalizing was what you did. And
yeah, I did that for 4 years. And it came from a relationship that I was in that didn't leave me my strongest. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of when my self-development journey started, when my businesses started, when this new level of Mel kind of started. And when I started out and got into that, I was like getting so strong within myself and knowing myself so much that I actually started to think, I'm a 9.5 on a bad day. I'm a solid 10 actually. And if you're going to be in my life and you're going to have me, you know, in yours, like you got to be worth it because I'm worth it. So I was really building myself to who do I want to attract? Now I have to mirror that. If I want a 10, I have to be a 10. And how do I get there? I was just working on that for 4 years alongside my businesses that kept me like super distracted. Yep. And every time someone wanted to go on a date, it would be like this big questionnaire from me, and then it would be a no or a last minute flake because I went, there's just this one little thing that I could probably do better with.
Yeah.
So that happened for 4 years. I think I went on one date. You know, and it was 2 years later after my last breakup. It was one date. It was horrible. I never wanted to do it again. Mm-hmm. And then I went 2 years single again until maths happened.
So you were essentially finding yourself, which a lot of women, unfortunately, don't do. We don't listen to ourselves and go, unless I kind of have those boxes ticked, I couldn't even be bothered. I'd rather, you know, spend my time on my business and spend time on myself, getting to know me, having great relationships with my friends, instead of just trying to make, what I would say, push shit up a hill in a relationship that is clearly not for you. So, and you know, a lot of people are like, oh, she's not you, particularly. There was another woman on maths, and I can't remember who it was, but everyone gave her a really hard time because
Was it the Melissa and Bryce? The ones that have twins now?
No. It was one that reminded me a bit of you because she wanted
you're talking Tamara?
Tamara. Yeah.
Is it the blonde one that wanted like she didn't want the 9 to 5?
Yeah, she didn't want the 9 to 5. She turned out to be a bit of a mole, but she probably isn't. Like she probably
That's who I thought I was being put into, because different things with our backstories and different questions and things I was being asked in the beginning, I thought I'm in her character.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's not my character and I'm going to push for this. Like you're going to know me and that's not me.
Yeah, and I remember her now. I'm thinking about it and thinking at the time everyone gave her a hard time because it's like, oh, you can't have all these boxes and they're going to fill them up. No, they're not. And what ended up kind of being her downfall was her maliciousness and her, you know, disloyalty and her mean girlness. But everyone made it about what she was, you know, asking for in a man to begin with and what she wouldn't put up with. And I was like, no. And I remember Clem saying, like, doing the live, you know, the stories on it, saying, why is this a bad thing? Why are we attacking this woman for wanting something that she should want because she's worthy?
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad, isn't it? Like that's just the mentality. And it's so interesting. So many females want to tell themselves that it's 2023. I'm a female of women empowerment.
Yeah.
But then things like that happen where it's like, you can't have this. You're not good enough. Why do you think you're good? Why do you think you look good? You deserve good. And they want to bring you down.
Yeah.
And they forget in that moment that that's not uplifting.
Yeah.
It's not empowerment. It's doing
It's
the complete
internalized
opposite.
misogyny. And it's awful because when we pit ourselves against each other, I mean, I say it almost every episode, don't I, Rach? Like, just sisters we've really got to look out for each other more, and we've got to do it more. Okay, we're going to leave the chat right now because we've got so much more to talk about with Mel. We're going to do a part 2. And that's where we're going to talk about the Logies stuff. So make sure that you come back next week and have a listen. Thanks for being with us this week. Love being in your ear holes. Talk to you soon.